and welcome to round 7 of the Red Bull Air Race World Championship. Porto, the second largest city of Portugal, hosts the penultimate event of the 2008 season with a fast, tight, narrow track over the Douro River and the Dom Luís Bridge. Let's take a look at the current World Championship standings. Bonhomme 45, Hannes Arkas 45 points, but Bonhomme can only potentially score 1 point and no more here today, and that is the seriousness of the situation. A massive crowd here on both the north and the south bank of the River Douro. 650,000 spectators are here to see the Red Bull Air Race World Championship, and it's the penultimate round of our 8-stop tour. I'm delighted to welcome once again to the commentary box former Red Bull Air Race pilot Frank Versteeg. Another disappointment, one has to report, for Paul Bonhomme. Surprisingly, Frank, picking up a penalty in that 0.1 round.
The airplane has to be absolutely straight and level through the blue gates, and as we see him over there has been a lot of confusion about the judgment.
Personally, I don't think I did make a mistake.
So it was said incorrect flying level on gate 12. What was going through your mind? Did you feel like it was straight?
Well, I thought it was level. My video thinks it's level, so we're appealing.
How much does this 1 point mean to you?
It means an awful lot.
But Frank, there is one camera that tells the full story.
It's definitely the tail camera, and as we see the plane go through the blue number 12 track, he has been turning, so advice for Paul, buy a new video.
Well, the man who did claim the one championship point in the 0.1 round was the French pilot Nicolas Ivanov, taking full advantage of the 3-second penalty that Paul Bonhomme was given after that appeal. 0.77 of a second, the right side of the clock, and Ivanov is the top-placed pilot in the 0.1 round, ahead of Paul Bonhomme, Rachmanin and Glenn Dell. Well, the Super 8 round is still to come, and our expert Frank Versteeg has more information for us.
First of all, about the weather. Absolutely sunny temperatures, 25 degrees, calm wind, only 6 kilometers. And this is the track 17 gates, a track record by Kirby Chambliss in the fastest time, 6.6 kilometers. And we're looking from the west to the east direction. The pilots hold over the Atlantic Ocean, come diving in at very high speed. Then they find a 1 or 2 turn entry into the chicane. Gate number 4, preparing for the high G pull-up in front of the Dom Luís Bridge, which has been designed by Mr. Eiffel himself. Then they turn back into the track with headwind. That means that the ground speed is slightly slower. And then the second part of the track, pull-up at gate number 9 and diving back onto the Douro River with on the left side Porto and the right side Gaia.
One of the fastest, narrowest tracks we've seen all season long, really testing the pilot's skills to the maximum, as we saw with Paul Bonhomme in qualifying. The starting order for the Super 8 is based on the qualifying times from 24 hours ago. Steve Jones just getting into this Super 8 round, then Goulian, McLean, Bejunet, Mangold, Nigel Lamb, Hannes Ark and Kirby Chambliss, the fastest pilots from the qualifying round. We're on board with Steve Jones, the winner here in Porto last year. Twice on the podium in the 2008 season in Rotterdam and in Budapest a couple of weeks ago. Due to that disqualification of Paul Bonhomme, we see Steve Jones in action, just getting into those Super 8s now. Jones, can he make amends? A little bit disappointed with his performance, finding it difficult to see where he was making his mistakes, but a very, very fast start indeed, and 11.35 seconds.
And it absolutely looks like Steve Jones will go for maximum. I mean, he remembers the victory from last year. You can see his flying style. He is extremely aggressive, Nick.
Which is good to see from Steve Jones, and really, as a pilot that's not in the chase for the championship, he has everything to go for and nothing to lose here. Steve really must push it now. That memory of 12 months ago still sweet for Steve Jones as he takes the last half Cuban 8 maneuver, the roll, half roll out, last of the pull-ups. Now he starts heading home as Steve Jones sets the early pace in this Super 8 round. The British pilot now through the chicane for the last time, horizontal through the penultimate gate, and then he's looking to stop the clock. His best time so far, 109.53, and he's in improved on his qualifying time, 109.15 seconds, and he goes into top spot.
Number 19, Steve, 1 minute 09.15 seconds, no penalties.
Smoke on for the American pilot, currently lying 10th in the championship. 12 points he scored so far this season. His personal best in his career came in Perth in 2007. He was a runner-up there. His only criticism of his performances to date here in Porto was that he started a little too hard too soon. Very fast in the early training sessions and perhaps giving one or two of his secrets away. 109.15 seconds is the target time for Michael Goulian from the United States of America. Very fast entry speed, just shy of 360 kilometers per hour. Wonderful shot as Goulian heading for the Don Luis Bridge, and then the pull-up. On board with the American, the half roll out, and back he comes once again. Goulian sees himself with a chance of breaking into the top flight here, and he has the green light. 0.11 of a second faster than Steve Jones. This is by far one of the best performances we've seen this season from Goulian. Tight angles through the chicane, real quick manoeuvres. This is the third and final. Oh, now it's red. The red means he's slower. The green tells us he's faster. Michael Goulian needs to find 0.16 of a second in these last few gates now. 17 gates for the pilots to take in. This is the penultimate horizontal through the blue. 109.15 is Goulian taking the lead. Michael Goulian has just missed it. 0.39 off the pace of Steve Jones, goes into runner-up position.
Number 99, Michael, 1 minute 09.54 seconds, no penalties, second place.
Smoke on for Alejandro McLean. Probably lying 9th in the World Championship standings for 2008 with 13 points. Now flying the MXS, which he has said is a little heavy and doesn't lack the speed of some of the other planes that have been flown here today. Let's see how he goes. 7th position in the last round of the tour for Alejandro McLean. That was in Budapest. And the MXS was the plane that he picked up in round 3 in Detroit. Very fast entry speed for Alejandro McLean. Watch for the split. 11.35 is the target and 0.13 of a second. And it's a very good start indeed for the Spanish ace. And now, it's a tactic that I'm sure he has to take with the MXS. Coming in with a lot of speed. Can he keep it going now? The second split target, 30.74 and 0.39. 10.1 G-forces against the body on that second pull-up. But now, looking very confident indeed here, Alejandro McLean. Very tight line through the chicane. 49.14 is the next target. Third and final pull-up, well, just under 0.4 off the pace, still flying in runner-up position, looking to go ahead of Mike Goulian. Can he find a little extra as he heads for home now? Oh, and he's under investigation at gate 12. Let's hope that a little bit of luck is on the Spaniard side. And the 3-second penalty is there. The clock is stopped at 1 minute 12.78 seconds, third spot for McLean.
Number 36, Alejandro, 1 minute 12.78 seconds, 3 seconds penalty, incorrect level gate 12, third place.
Thank you very much.
Peter Bejonet, next to challenge. 4th in Porto here last year. But Bejonet still searching for his first podium performance of the 2008 season. Impressive in qualifying round 2, where he jumped from 8th to 5th position. Again, just shy of 360 kilometers per hour. The entry speed for Peter Bejonet, who went back to the Edge 540, put in the new engine in Budapest, and is now starting to get this plane to its top performance. And look at the clock, just 0.09 of a second, the wrong side for Peter Bejonet. But it's a very exciting start from the experienced Hungarian. The second split will be crucial now for Peter Bejonet, just before he takes for the second pull-up and half-Cuban manoeuvre. Watch the clock again, look for green. Oh, 0.36, incredibly close once more. And gate 7 is under investigation. That will be a nightmare for Bejonet. Many people tipping the Hungarian as a potential podium performer here. Still haven't taken the decision. 0.47, flying in third spot right now, Peter Begenet. On his way home, chicane for the final time, horizontal through the penultimate blue, and then stops the clock. 109.15, still under investigation. He's still not taken the lead. So there is still a judging on gate 7 for Peter Begenet, no matter what the outcome, and it could be a 3-second addition to his time. He will not take the lead from Jones. This is Dirk Eckhardt, who is verifying the steward's decision, and the verification says no penalty, no time added, third spot for the Hungarian pilots. Mike Mangold next to challenge, currently lying 4th in the championship. And as you see on the screen, 4th in the last round of the Tour in Budapest. The defending champion is yet to take a victory on the 2008 Tour. Could it be here in Budapest? This is the time to try and get his challenge for the title back on track. 109.15 seconds is the target time for the American pilot, and coming in with a speed of 352 kilometers per hour. Good start from Mike Mangold. Look for the split time, the first target time of 11:35, and Mike Mangold goes to 12 Gs, but not over, so it won't be a disqualification, but really pushing it to the limit here. Mangold knows he's got to raise his game to try and take advantage of Bonhomme being disqualified from qualifying, and this is a great start from the American. Second split time, it's a second green light by now 0.34 of a second, faster than Steve Jones. He's just 9 points off Hannes Ark in the championship standings, tying on 36 with Kirby Chambliss. This would be the perfect start, or the perfect time in the season, to take a 9-point score. The green light is there for the third time of asking as Mangold comes out on board with the American. There's the rollout of the half-Cuban 8, and now heading home. Chicane for the final time, and Mangold is looking to take the lead away from British pilot Steve Jones. Jones will not get the repeat success of 2007 as Mangold, there sits there, 108.99, goes into top position.
Number 1, Mike, 1 minute 08.99 seconds, no penalties, and you have the lead.
Obrigado, Porto.
6th in the last round of Budapest, 5th in London. Now, one of the most popular pilots on the circuit. Can Nigel Lamb climb onto the podium? He said quite openly and honestly that his plane's a little too heavy, but it has high aerodynamic efficiency. The power and weight of the MXS is a disadvantage, but this man has the flying skills to match that. Again, very quickly in, through the chicane, tight on those quick turns. Setting up now for the first pull-up, 11.16. Oh, a little bit of work to do for Nigel Lamb, but that's close enough to try and chip away a few tenths. Just under a quarter of a second down on Mike Mangold, but Lamb, very experienced, wily competitor. 30.40 is the next split time target. British Ace pulls up for the second time. He's whittling it down, now just 3 tenths. Currently flying in third position. This plane that he picked up in round 3 of the Tour in San Diego, he's becoming more and more confident with. Oh, now it's 0.17. Each pass of the track, he's getting quicker. Can Nigel Lamb really put the cat among the pigeons here and steal it away from Mangold on this last pass? Now, into the chicane, which is gate 15. 16 is horizontal, 17 stops the clock, and 108.99 is the target. Oh, he's just missed it. 0.45 off the pace. Lamb goes third. Hannes Ark next to challenge. This performance could set this Austrian pilot well on his way to the championship title for 2008. Perhaps one of the most important races of his career to date here in Porto round 7. And Hannes Ark gets off to an electrifying start. 11.16. Will it be the green light by 0.06 of a second? A wonderful start for the Austrian. Has suffered from nerves in the past, but looks very calm here today. Just needs to book himself a spot in the semis, and he takes a big step forwards to the 2008 title. Second pull-up now, and the second split target time of 30.40 seconds. Oh, 900ths off the pace of Mike Mangold, but still on track for the semi-finals. Very important this now. This next pass for Hannes Ark. There's no question he's got to keep it clean. You pick up a penalty and your challenge is right over with all of the time so close together. The top four, less than half a second separating them. 9.8 Gs, 400ths of a second off the pace, and Hannes Ark looks to have done enough to go through to the semi-finals here. Kirby Chambliss is the last pilot to fly, remember. Penultimate gate now, and Hannes Ark, will he beat Mangold or will he just be outside? A great performance, and he's done it. Yes, indeed he has. 108.89, the fastest man out there today, and he's in the semis.
1 minute 08.89 seconds, no penalties, first place.
Here he is, the last performer of the first part of the Super 8 round. And this is the 2006 world champion, Kirby Chambliss. 2 wins to his name this season, winning in Detroit and in London. The fastest in qualifying. Now, on race day, can the American do it again? 108.89 seconds. The target time is now set by Hannes Ark as Kirby Chambliss looking for his 3rd win of the season. But here right now, looking to qualify for the semi-finals. 11.10 is the target, and here comes Kirby once again. 400ths of a second, the right side of the clock, the green light, and the fastest man out there so far today. Out of the half Cuban 8 maneuver, back down the Douro River once again. Heading for his second pull-up, 30.49 is the target. Oh, now he's finding himself a little off the pace. 0.29 of a second slower at this point in the challenge over Hannes Ark. Great onboard shots as the Edge 540 weaves its way through the chicane. 3rd and final pull-up. And he's back with the green, 0.21. Kirby Chambliss, well, I'm not sure whether he's doing it on purpose, but he's got 650,000 people on the edge of their seats as the Americans heading home now. Surely this is enough for the semi-final, but is it going to be the fastest time of the day? He's already set the Trek record here yesterday, and Kirby Chambliss says to Hannes Ark, you're not going to have it your own way in Porto. A great flight from the American.
1 minute 08.74 seconds, no penalties, and you have the lead.
And the crowd enjoying every moment of this Super 8 round where we've whittled them down from the 8 fastest of qualifying to the top 4. And the green triangle or arrows indicates those 4 pilots that go through to the semi-finals. Lam, Goulian, Begenet and McLean missing out on the next round. So the fastest man all week here in Porto, Kirby Chambliss, prepares for his semi-final clash against the British pilot who won here 12 months ago. That's Steve Jones.
Steve Jones, you're up against Kirby next. What's your game plan?
Well, just to try and save half a second somehow. Kirby's been the fastest guy all week, really. But it's about time he did a bad run, I reckon. And, you know, I think I can save half a second.
He definitely does need to save that half a second, Steve Jones, if he's to stop Kirby Chambliss. As we said earlier, he's been the fastest man all week here in Porto, and the British pilot will really need to raise his game if he's to knock Kirby out of this first semi-final. The second semi, again an American pilot in action, this time going up against Hannes Ark. That's Mike Mangold, of course. 650,000 spectators lining the Gaia side of the Douro River and the Porto side, and we are looking for semi-final number 1. Now, the statistics between these 2 pilots are very close indeed. But Kirby Chambliss is the pilot that's in form here in Porto. But, of course, Steve Jones won here 12 months ago. It'll be an interesting clash, but I'm sure you will all agree the British pilot really does need to raise his game to knock out the American here. And the pressure is on Steve Jones because he has to fly first. Let's take a breakdown of the times that he's been putting down. 109.53 24 hours ago in qualifying. Improving in the Super 8, 109.15, but he must take at least a second off that. The last time they met was in Rotterdam, and Steve Jones came out on top, and that was in the 3rd place fly-off. But this is Jones in the semi-final number 1, and just like he's predicted, he's coming in with more speed. 368 kilometres per hour. Very fast entry indeed. The first pull-up, 11.24 seconds is the time. Big G-forces once more. And back down the track again for Steve Jones. Now, second target, and he's looking to improve, and it's looking good so far. 30.57 seconds for Steve Jones. 109.15 seconds was the time that he put down in the Super 8 round. Can he improve on that? Got to be the case, because Kirby was considerably quicker. Again, the third and final pull-up from the British pilot. Back down now, Jones. Into the chicane for the last time. It's a good performance from Steve Jones, certainly pushing harder. The quickest we've seen from the British pilot today, and that's a very good time indeed. 108.84 seconds, knocking half a second off his Super 8 time. And that really is the best he could possibly get from his plane. And he really does set the challenge to Kirby Chambliss. Kirby Chambliss, the 2006 world champion. 2 wins to his name already this season, and impressive wins they were indeed in both Detroit and in London.
Kirby, you're cleared into the track. Smoke on.
And very good to see the angle as we sit in the cockpit with Kirby. Look at the angle. Turning in, straight on level, and there it comes. Left turn, right turn, left turn, as close as possible to the chicane.
0.3 of a second quicker than Steve Jones. We see stars against Steve Jones's name when his time comparison comes up on your screens. He is under investigation, Steve Jones, for potentially pulling too much G, over 12 of course, but that doesn't seem to matter because Kirby Chambliss is getting faster and faster as the day goes on. Green light is there and there with style, almost half a second faster than Steve Jones, and Kirby Chambliss, investigation or not, is going to win this the right way by being the fastest man through the track. Coming up for the third and final pull-up now. 48.74 is the target, and the green light is still there, getting faster and faster with each and every pass. Kirby Chambliss now is brimming with confidence and surely has a win in his sights. Kirby heading home. It's going to be quicker than Steve Jones. He's booking himself a spot in the final. Sadly for Jones, it's looking like it's all over. But Kirby Chambliss puts in another electrifying time of 107.87 and goes through to the finale.
Number 19, Steve, 1 minute 08.84 seconds, no penalties. Number 4, Kirby, 1 minute 07.87 seconds, no penalties.
Well, a truly superb performance from Kirby Chambliss, but who will join him in the final? This is semi-final number 2. Mike Mangold, the defending champion, going up against Hannes Ark, the Austrian that could make a big step forwards for the 2008 championship after his fly-off with Mangold right now. Head-to-head career as well. The advantage is with Hannes Ark, who is the informed pilot this season. Mangold will fly first, but of course we've seen Hannes Ark deny Mike Mangold on a couple of occasions this season. It started off in the opener in Abu Dhabi. The defending world champion, America's Mike Mangold, comes into his semi-final challenge against Hannes Ark. 355 kilometers per hour, just over 217 mph for all of his American fans. Look for the first pull-up. And he must keep those G's below 12. 11.15 seconds, 11.8 G-forces. The rollout of the half Cuban 8 back down the track once more. Oh, and gate 4 is under investigation. That could be the end of the hopes of Mike Mangold going through to the final. Well, still no decision. 10.9 G's on the second pull-up. No penalty for Mike Mangold. It's still good news for the American. Third and final, inverted maneuver now as he sets himself up for it. He knows he's got to push it right to the limit, and there's no question Mangold is doing that. Can he improve on 108.99? He's going to have to if he's going to take it away from Hannes Ark in this semi-final. Into the chicane once more, and the final time, horizontal through the penultimate gate. It's another fast performance from Mike Mangold. It's a brilliant performance from Mangold. 108.77, over 2/10 faster than his Super 8 time. That's exactly what he wanted.
3, number 1 Mike.
And he's gone faster with that time of 108.77 than Hannes Ark did to qualify for the semi-finals. Hannes Ark recorded a time of 108.89. You see it there on your screens, his Super 8 times. A lot of the pilots flying a little slower than they were in yesterday's qualifying round. So once more, the pilot needs to raise his game and find more speed if he's to go through to the final. Has he got the nerves, or can he keep the focus? Austria's Hannes Ark coming in, as always, with breathtaking speed. The smoke is on. 108.77 is the target time, and as expected, as fast as possible, 200 knots, 370 kilometers per hour, as Hannes Ark now just must watch the G's as he comes into the first pull-up. He's got the green light. So far, so good for Hannes Ark, and only 11.2 on the G-force meter. Second pass now for the Austrian. Again, watch for the green light. 30.51 is the target. Mike Mangold sets the pace, and Hannes Ark just with the green light, just under 0.3 of a second faster, 10.2 Gs. No room for penalty in this narrow, tight, fast track of Porto, Portugal. The third and final pull-up now for the Austrian. Is he heading to the final? Oh, he's got the green light now by almost half a second. Just got to stay clean and keep focused towards the end of the challenge. Hannes Ark will not only go through to the final, but will become odds-on favourite to take the 2008 championship title. Another brilliant performance from this young pilot who was a rookie a year ago. He's done it. 0.8 faster, 107.97. Just a tenth of a second shy of Kirby Chambliss, but he's in the final.
Number 1, Mike, 1 minute 08.77 seconds, no penalties. Number 28, Hannes, 1 minute 07.907 seconds, no penalties, and Hannes goes into the finals.
Thanks, Mike, for the race. Thanks, Porto. I'm in the race here. It's just great.
Nice job, Hannes. Team Cobra, keep it going.
Keep it going.
Both pilots improved their times, but Hannes improved much more than Mike Mangold, and it's quite visible, absolutely clear. All sectors, Hannes was faster than Mike Mangold.
And Frank, that speed and performance also means that the Austrian pilot is guaranteed at least 8 points, could even be 9, as he goes through to the final, and his camp back at the temporary runway are dancing with delight. Now, before the finale, third place needs to be settled, and that's between Steve Jones and Mike Mangold. It's a repeat of the final here in Porto 12 months ago. But Steve Jones has been flying just a little bit slower than Mike Mangold, so some say the favour is with the defending champion. This will be a very closely fought battle for 7 or 6 World Championship points. We're looking down at the course, but both the pilots are in the holding pattern over the Atlantic Ocean. Then they come diving in at 200 knots to get the action underway. Jones on the left of your screen will go first. Mangold waiting patiently in the sky. He's got to go a lot faster than he's been performing throughout the competition here. But as you see, 108.84 is the quickest he's done so far, but he needs to get below 108 if he's to take third position here. So once again, Steve Jones looks to step up the pace here in Porto in his last performance of the day. Coming in at 358 kilometers per hour. Again, massive speed for the British pilot. First pull-up. Remember, he's already been under investigation once for pulling over 12 Gs, but it was just within the rules and regulations. It's a new clock once again as Steve Jones comes down for his second pass and through the chicane once more. The second pull-up now as he goes through start-finish gate, the Breitling gate. There's the target time, 30.37 seconds. He's looking to improve on 108.84. Of course, penalty-free it must be if you're to stay in top positions in this narrow, fast track of Porto. Last up, half Cuban 8 now. The roll out brings him away, brings him back home. There he comes, now heading. Now just 4 gates to take it. Chicane for the final time. Horizontal, then sets up for the final turn for the start-finish. Is it quicker? It's another good performance from Steve Jones. 108.52, taking 0.3 off his fastest time of the day so far. And that's faster than Mike Mangold has flown as well. An impressive run from Steve Jones. Is that enough? 1 minute, 0.08.52 seconds. Mangold has to better that to get onto the podium here in Porto and take revenge from this event a year ago. 108.77 is the fastest time, and as we've just seen, Steve Jones has just dipped inside that. Twice on the podium. Could this be the third podium performance of Mangold's season? There's the target time, and 355 kilometers per hour. Just around about 4 kilometers per hour slower than Steve Jones. 11.33 is the first split target time as Mangold goes for the first pull-up, and oh, it's a sensational start. 12 Gs, he's on the limit, but he's got the green light, and this is a great start from Mangold. 12 months ago, these two battled it out in the final, and Steve Jones came out on top, but not looking that way in 2008, because the green light is there again. 0.3 faster than Steve Jones. Third pass now for the American. And heading for his third and final half Cuban 8 maneuver. Here's the last pull-up, and still has the green light. Just, though, only just the narrowest of margins. 0.03 of a second separating Mangold and Steve Jones. Now the American needs to push through these last few turns, cutting the line tight, keeping the angles to the minimum. Now goes for the start-finish. 108.52. Will Mangold take third? Oh, yes, he's done it. 0.03 of a second puts Mike Mangold on the podium, and Steve Jones down to fourth.
Number 19, Steve. 1 minute, 08.52 seconds, no penalties. Number 1, Mike. 1 minute, 08.49 seconds, and Mike has the third place.
Whoa, that was a close one. Very nice race, Steve. Thank you.
Okay, well done, Mike. That was a close race. From the TM aeroplane, and thanks very much.
And we see improving times, but much more important what we can see here. How close is 0.03 of a second? And if you see it here from this position, stop it. Turn around. This is 0.03 of a second.
Let's take a look at the confirmation. Chambliss goes forward and Hannes Ark goes forward, and we will decide who takes 9 and who takes 8 championship points. A win gives you 9, of course. Let's take a look at the head-to-head statistics of these two pilots. The last time they met this season was in San Diego. They were battling it out for 3rd and 4th position, and Kirby Chambliss came out on top. And the way Kirby has been flying here today, you have to give the American favoritism to Hannes Ark. Hannes Ark's focus is probably looking further down the line to the World Championship. Kirby Chambliss knows that he must win here today if he's to keep his championships alive and take it right to the wire in Perth in November. Both pilots on your screen, but it's Hannes Ark on the left that will get the action underway as the pilot who is a little bit slower to get to the final. 107.97, his fastest performance today. That 107.56 in qualifying came 24 hours ago. But if I know Hannes Ark, he's wanting to go even faster. This performance could be the stepping stone to the 2008 World Championship. No matter what the outcome today, he will take the lead in the championship standings, whether he takes 9 or 8 points, 1st or 2nd position. But Hannes Ark, who got the taste of victory, that sweet taste of success in Budapest 2 weeks ago, is now looking for his 2nd win of the season. Look for the speed, because he's normally the quickest. It'll be around about 370 kilometers per hour. There it is, 200 knots, the entry speed from Austria's Hannes Ark. And can he improve on his earlier time? Heading for the first pull-up, and there's the first split target. 10.89 seconds. Very, very quick on the first pass. Half Cuban 8 maneuver, back into the track once again. Through the chicane on board with the Austrian ace. Second pull-up is just through the Breitling start-finish gate. 29.55 again, a very Fast time indeed, 10.1 Gs. Oh, he's under investigation on a gate 6. Let's see if he can still keep it clean, and that investigation will result in a 3-second penalty if it goes against him. No penalty for Hannes Ark. So far, so good for the Austrian, with a little bit of lady luck on his side here in Portugal today. He's going through the last and final pass now, heading for home. Chicane for the final time. Horizontal through the penultimate gate. He's looking to stop the clock below 107.9, and he's gone faster again. Fastest time we've seen all day, and the new track record, 107.00 seconds. Hannes Ark is on track for the championship title and his second win of the season.
Number 4 Kirby, you're cleared into the track. Smoke on.
The all clear by Bernd. Piff is given to Kirby Chambliss. And he really does have to put something special down, because in qualifying 24 hours ago, he set the track record at 107.34. And as we've just seen, Hannes Ark has just lowered that by 0.34 of a second. So once again, Kirby Chambliss is going to have to change up a gear and put down the fastest performance he has flown all week in Portugal. Clock starts ticking away as he goes through the start-finish gate, 345. He's been one of the slowest with the entry speed, but it's the line and angles that the American pilot takes through this track that has given him this speed. He's got work to do. The red, not the green light at the first split time, which means that Kirby Chambliss is just under 0.3 of a second slower than Hannes Ark at this point in the challenge. Second pass back down the Douro River through the chicane, on board with the pilots. 29.55 is the next target. Kirby's moving, he's stepping it up. No, 7/10 off the pace. 10.5 Gs for his second half Cuban 8. Back towards the Dom Luis Bridge for his third and final pull-up. 47.50 is the target. Is he finding extra speed? Oh, it's slipping through the fingers of Kirby Chambliss. And that third win doesn't look to be going the Americans' way. Heading for home, his final pass through the track, almost through his 6.6 kilometers, horizontal through that final blue, then the turn for the start-finish, 107.00, it's not there. 1.06 off the pace, second position for Kirby Chambliss. It's 9 championship points for Hannes Ark, and he draws ever closer to the World Championship title for 2008.
07.00 seconds, no penalties. Number 4 Kirby, 1 minute 08.06 seconds, no penalties. And Hannes is the winner of the Red Bull Ares in Porto 2008.
Hey, thanks, Kirby. Thanks, Porto. Obrigado, Porto. And I can't believe it, but it was a pleasure to race, Kirby, and a pleasure to race here. Thanks, Porto.
A very interesting development. All flights, Chambliss was faster, and here in the finals, he had no chance. As you can see, all plus times, 28.42, 9 and 0.27 seconds slower than Hannes Ark.
Confirmation, Hannes Ark has taken the penultimate round of the Red Bull Air Race World Championship ahead of the Americans, Kirby Chambliss and Mike Mangold. Last year's winner Jones down in 4th. Then we see Lam, Goulian, Begenet and Alejandro McLean. And the second biggest story of the day, no points for Paul Bonhomme, only down in 10th position, handing the World Championship perhaps to Hannes Ark.
Hannes Ark, congratulations. First place, a wonderful time of 0.17. Could you have done any better?
No, I don't think so. I was going full out. I pulled gently with the cheese, but that turned out to be fast, a new tactic, pulling cheese, and it turned out well, so I was really happy when I saw my time and thought, like, well, that will be hard for you, Kirby.
I mean, the track slowed down a little bit. You know, I've gone flat out every time, and I mean, on this run for sure, I went as fast as I could go, and that's all I can get out of the old girl.
You're now third in the championship, only 1 point behind Paul Bonhomme after what's happened with the 12G issue. So do you have high hopes for the podium?
Well, I think this is going to probably clinch it for Hannes. You know, they'll take this series unless maybe he hits a gate, or even if that, he might even make it then.
You see how fast you screw up the whole thing, as Kirby and Paul did, and I don't want that to happen to me, so I will stay focused till the end of the season.
And the end of the season is not too far away, and he must be feeling quite comfortable now, Hannes Ark, as he opens up a 9-point advantage over Paul Bonhomme, 10 points clear of Kirby Chambliss, and Mike Mangold now technically cannot successfully defend the title. title he won a year ago. McLean, Ivanov, Rachmanin and Glendale making up the lower places of the World Championship standings, but everybody is talking about Hannes Ark here in Porto. So good to see one of the first congratulations coming from Paul Bonhomme, who potentially or possibly has lost his World Championship title here today. Fantastic pictures. The crowd are absolutely elated as the Vice Minister of Communication from Portugal, Paulo Campos, makes the awards. Frank, it is so good to see Hannes Ark on top of the podium. At the beginning of the season, we questioned whether he had the nerves for this kind of thing, and he's come through.
Maturing, getting better, getting faster.
Great to see. And of course, Hannes Ark now just needs to finish in the top 9 in Perth, Australia, and he will be crowned the 2008 World Champion. He's not that experienced at opening the champagne, but he certainly flies his aeroplane just a little bit quicker. Congratulations to the Austrian, who now sets sail for Perth, Australia for the last round of the tour with the 2008 World Championship in his sights. We will be there on November the 2nd. From Nick Fellows and Frank Versteeg, it's goodbye for now.